Welcome to Inspired for More podcast. I am so happy you're here. My name is Alexandra, and I have helped and I continue to help leaders grow and scale their businesses into multi-million-dollar sales organizations. I am insanely passionate about stepping into the very best version of ourselves and letting go of stories that no longer serve us. The more we achieve and expand ourselves, the more we give permission to the world to do the same thing. If anything here inspired you, just know you were actually meant to inspire others. Now let's dive into an episode. All right, you guys, you're in for a treat. I am so beyond thrilled to be hosting Richard Bliss as our special guest today on the podcast. And I'll tell you what, when I first launched the podcast in 2022, I had 3 people on my list that was like my go-to of who I absolutely wanted on the show. And the number one person was Richard Bliss, because he's absolutely a legend in network marketing. And I'm just so excited because you're not necessarily an influencer, but you have the most amount of influence, in my opinion, in our network marketing industry. And you've definitely transformed my journey. And I'll share that in a minute on how you transformed my journey. And then there was Jordan Adler, who Jordan has come on the show. And then the third we're waiting on is Jack Canfield. Because that's one of the I know you've had him on your show. All right.
Did you get him?
Not yet. I'm still working on it, but I'm so grateful. You said yes.
I'll land him for you. He's easy.
Bless you. Okay, I'm excited about that. So maybe that's a good thing that I mentioned that right now. Most of all, I'll tell you what, network marketing has completely transformed my life. It has transformed every aspect of my life, but yet I was the same as majority 99% of people. I didn't understand the business model. I was a hard no, and I thought these kind of things were illegal. And I didn't want to be one of those people that was going to spend my time convincing people of something that they had to do. And I'm going to be forever grateful that my sister, who was my sponsor in the industry, literally handed me a book, which I have the French version, by the way, Richard, because this is kind of fun for you, right? Majority of my sales team is French Canadian. So this is a book. I have it in French and English. And I, of course, have your wife's book as well, the 4-Year Career for Women. But if you're not familiar with our industry, and that was really my intention and my mission with today's episode, was really to enlighten you. And so if you're listening in for the very first time on about this industry and about what network marketing is, my intention is not to convince you that this industry is the right one for you. My intention is to open your eyes to really the possibilities, and really that it is a legit business model that has transformed so many people's lives. And I love Richard's podcast. I've sat in my kitchen cooking for years, listening to The Authentic Networker, and just like listening to all these stories that Richard goes on and on interviewing people who have literally transformed their whole life through this business model. And it's made me an entrepreneur. And it's all thanks to you, Richard, because the 4-year career was handed to me. And as I mentioned, I was a hard no. And I said, all right, I'll read your book. And I started to read the book, and I looked at the business model and the comp plan of that company that I got involved with, which I'm still involved with. And I thought, if this is true, and if I can just hand this book over to other people, this is going to be really simple for me. So if you're already involved in the network marketing field, you absolutely want to be using this as a tool. It's called The 4-Year Career by Richard Bliss. I was actually getting my nails done this morning, and the girl was with Amway, which I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And I said to her, I said, you're with the old G of network marketing. And I said, did you ever hear of The 4-Year Career? She said, no. I'm like, oh my gosh, you need to go get that book. She was on Google ordering it. She typed it in right away. She ordered it. So that's really my mission today, is to, first of all, get to know you, Richard, get people to get to know you, get to know your programs. Because before we started recording right now, I just mentioned to Richard, I said, I listened to a pre-recorded training that he did almost 7 years ago, and it transformed my personal journey as an entrepreneur. And it's taken away all the weirdness of sales and the awkwardness of being part of a network marketing company or an MLM company from using the things that you share about. So I would love to hear how you got involved in the network marketing space, and really, what did you think of it at first?
I'd never heard of it or Amway or any of those companies. I'd never heard of the concept. And when it was explained to me, it didn't make any sense to me at all, because I was under the belief and the education that if there was a product to sell, if there was money to be made and a product to be sold, that what's supposed to happen is I was supposed to sell a lot of the product. So if I want to make more money, I sell more product. And if I want to make even more money, I sell even more product. And the people that were explaining the model to me were explaining it in a way that didn't seem to matter, that how much of the product I sold, I could actually earn more money through this expansion concept, which I kind of did not do well in school, not because I'm stupid. I just wasn't very interested. And so I missed the class on compounding, and I missed the financial education about compounding interest, and so it just didn't make any sense to me. A lot of people know I was working in a chicken plant, which is, if you're raised in an agricultural community and you barely get out of high school and you don't go to college, well, you end up working in a chicken plant or something like that. And I actually loved the chicken plant, and I had a whole career mapped out. I had my next 40 years mapped out. I was going to run the whole chicken plant.
Gonna
All right.
climb
Yeah,
up
exactly.
that corporate ladder.
Yeah. And so this high school buddy of mine, he starts telling me, come to a meeting. And I said, I don't want to go to any meetings. And he said, well, you make a lot of money. And, it's just a weird way that people think, right? I would work like 10 or 20 hours a week overtime to impress my bosses enough that maybe I could get a different colored hat and get $100 a month raise. Now, this was 1977, long time ago. But the crazy things we do, for a little raise. And he was saying, come to a meeting where you can learn how to make 4 times as much money. And I told him no. And I told him no 3 times, 3 different occasions. And I think, Alexandra, like you, I meant it.
And why did you say no? Did it sound too good to be true?
It wasn't about illegal or pyramid or any, I didn't even know what any of those things were. It was just purely uncomfortable. So we all have a comfort zone where we kind of know the landscape, and we're good at what we're doing, and we understand the rules to the game. And so, first of all, the idea of going to a business meeting with strangers, I wore a plastic smock all day and rubber boots. Business meeting, just no. I don't want to go to a business meeting. I was an introvert. I did not have a lot of confidence, and I don't want to go somewhere where I don't know all the people. I don't want to meet people. And then they're talking about making a lot of money. And it doesn't make any sense, right? It's not logical. But I said no to that amount of money because it was uncomfortable. And he was talking about selling, and that was a hard no. Like, I teach people how to cut chickens up. I don't sell anything. I don't ask people for their money. I don't tell people what they should buy. It's just not me. Hard no on the meeting, the money, and selling. 3 times in a row. And the context of it was, I loved what I was doing. So, hard no. So then people may ask, well, okay, well, you're not in the chicken business anymore. What happened? Earl Tooker happened.
Was that the same guy inviting you, or somebody totally different?
No, totally different. So the people that owned the chicken plant hired Earl Tooker to run the chicken plant. And Earl Tooker had a master's degree in poultry husbandry. Who does that? So Earl comes to the chicken plant, and he decides everybody in management at the chicken plant has to have a college degree.
Oh.
He kills my dream with one stroke of the pen. I can't go any further in the chicken plant because I barely got out of high school. So it's not like I called the guy who was telling me to come to the meeting and said, okay, now I'm ready. No, I wasn't even thinking about him. But because he was a friend, I did happen to see him a few weeks later. And so I was like, all right, well, my deal's over. What is this thing you're doing? And, he had to show me, Alexandra, he had to show me 20 times over and over and over and over and over again, because it was just like, it just didn't make any sense. And then one day I got it. I said, oh, really? Like that? Wow. That still it wasn't logical, right? It's not like I decided I wanted to sell. No, I didn't want to sell. But I have found this, right? That people will say no to a lot of things because they don't want to do it, because they, whatever. They'll say no to a whole lot of things. But if you show them enough money, the no turns to a soft no, turns to a soft yes, turns to a hard yes. And I just saw enough money, and I got comfortable with the idea of, hey, you don't have to grind out a living at someplace like a factory. There's other options. It took a while for me to kind of noodle these ideas. And I'll tell you, probably the whole game changer was this. I would not have stuck around for the conversation about, hey, there's other ways to be in life. There's other ways to make money. You can actually make more money than people at the chicken plant. And here's what you could do with it. And here's what kind of life you could have. And it took a while for me to get comfortable with those ideas. I think the big question is, why did I stick around for that conversation long enough to get comfortable? And it was simply this. These people, as ambitious as they were and business-minded and money-minded as they were sincerely interested in me.
Right.
And there was a lot of, celebration, recognition, a lot of curiosity. Hey, who are you? Tell me about your life. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to live? What kind of car do you want to drive? I guess you could kind of all lump that into sort of recognition. And recognition at the chicken plant sounded like this. The boss would walk by and he would look over at you kind of side eye, and he would say, "You Brooke?"
Oh my God.
That's actually my last name.
Yeah.
That's, oh, he sees me. That's recognition at the chicken plant. So I just got around a group of people that were going somewhere, and they were excited about where they were going, and they're very interested in me sincerely, in who I was. And what I found, and I know you found out about people, is all people really want is they want to be seen. They want to be heard in a safe way. They want it to be safe, that they can be seen and be heard, not be judged, and they want to matter. And so when I looked at this whole opportunity, it wasn't money that motivated me. It wasn't a car, it wasn't a home, it wasn't any of that. I just wanted to be somebody. Anybody.
Everybody has a silent sign on their forehead that says, "Make me feel special," right?
And they did. And so I stuck around long enough to absorb these ideas that, hey, the world is our oyster. We live, if you live in the United States, no joke, people die every day, trying to get in this country.
Literally.
To get on welfare? No. I mean, yeah, maybe some, but, most, to set up a taco stand, to start a business of some kind, to opportunity. This is the land of plenty. This is the land where you can become anything you want to become, anybody you want to become. People die every day for that opportunity, but yet if you're born and raised in this country, you just totally take it for granted.
Yeah, it's true.
And they just woke me up to these ideas that there's a lot more to life than a chicken plant if you're open to exploring it. And anyway, that's how I ended up here.
And then you ended up really you built one of the biggest teams within that organization, didn't you?
I did, yeah. But it took me a while. It took me a couple of years to I was super introvert. Not only introverted, I was negative, cynical, hard-headed, do it my way. Um, and I wasn't very nice to people. Like, somebody said, no, I'm not interested in doing that. I would, you know, kind of make them feel stupid.
which is which in my opinion, and I'd be curious to know what your opinion is today, what makes people have a bad image of our industry,
Well,
right?
people like me, people
People
like me,
like me in the past too.
yeah, 40 years ago. I think the number one thing that we do as network marketers that I've just railed against for decades when I had an epiphany about it is we're so delusional, so excited slash desperate. It's a weird combination of energy. We're so excited, yet we're so desperate that we just run around telling everybody what they should do. You should buy this product. You should use this product. You should have better skin. You should live longer. You shouldn't get sick as much. You should have more energy. You should sleep better. You should make more money. You should retire earlier. You should drive a nicer car. You should live in a nicer home. And if you don't want to, you're stupid.
It's true. It's totally that energy. And it's
It
totally
is.
the energy that will not bring you the prosperity that you
No,
desire.
it does not.
And
And
so,
so a big, huge shift for me was I just got how arrogant and self-absorbed that was. And yes, I was eventually very successful. Um, I just discovered some things, like, hey, most people don't want to do this, and that's okay. Their lives were just fine before network marketing. They're going to be just fine. They don't need me. They don't need what I'm doing. They don't want to do it. And I could use my case and say, well, your sponsor didn't give up on you. And no, he did give up on me, as he should have. I told him no 3 times, and I was adamant. And the only reason I'm in network marketing is because of Earl Tooker. If Earl Tooker had not come to Foster Farms, I would have retired from Foster Farms about 7 years ago.
right.
I would have stayed there. I loved it. So, people's lives are okay. And we just need to let people decide for what they want. There's plenty of people in the world who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're sick and tired of their financial grind. They're sick and tired of not having enough money. There's plenty of women in the world that are sick and tired of their PST, stands for personal spending threshold. What is that? That's the amount of money they can spend in any given month without having to explain it to their husband.
I love that.
I know, I know that's sexist. I know it's
I've
sexist,
heard
but
you
it's
say
the
that before,
reality.
and it makes me laugh every time because we are notorious for being good spenders.
Yeah, I mean, people want freedom and they want fun and they want abundance, but they're not all ready to bust a move.
Right.
So our job as network marketers is to, first of all, live a life and be somebody that is inspirational. And it's not inspirational to run around badgering people and telling them what they should do and then making them wrong if they don't agree. Just go live your best life and perhaps listen to people and perhaps see people and hear people. And how about make it your mission to do your best to help people matter, whether they join you or not.
Right.
And you're going to find some people that are ready. And you build your business with people that are ready.
Right. And when you took your business from point zero, at one point there's momentum that caught on. Did you feel like that was the shifting point? Whereas you took on treating people like a number to really making them matter? And did you feel like that slowed down your business when you made that happen, or you felt like it exponentially grew from there?
Well, I think there's two things that accelerated my business early on. Um, One was the whole concept of personal development, which back then to me, all that was really available was reading books and listening to tapes. There was not coaching. You couldn't
Right.
hire a coach. You couldn't even listen to coaching. You could only just listen to positive messages, right? That's all there was. And there was very little content, very few books, which was actually an advantage because we would read and listen to stuff over and over and over and over again instead of kind of the paradigm today is, well, I read a book a week.
Right.
Okay, great. You've read 52 books in the last week, but can you remember anything you read? Do you apply anything? No, there's no mastery to that badge of honor. Mastery comes from studying, right? So you don't read the Bible once, if or the Quran once, right? You study it. So
Right.
if you want to like transform, if you want to learn, if you want to master something, you got to study it. We had the advantage back then of very few things to study, so we would study them over and over and over again. And I finally got to the place in my business where I failed enough. I kind of had to hit rock bottom before I woke up and shed my arrogance and stubbornness. And I just had this epiphany one day that I'd been teaching people about positive mental attitude, personal development, lecturing them, telling them what they should do, but I wasn't actually practicing it. And so I dedicated 90 days to doing the practice, and it shifted my attitude. And, long story. I won't go into it here, but it resulted in me, I know, being in the right place at the right time with the right person. And this person was a customer and they wanted another bottle of product. And so, in the process of getting them that other bottle of product, they asked me, is there any money in this? And because I had changed my attitude and my energy, I didn't think about the response. I didn't try to manipulate the response. I just told my truth, which when I tell you what I said, you might say, well, you lied to him. No, I said, without even hesitating, I said, it'll blow your mind. Now, some people said, well, weren't you broke when you said that? I said, yeah, I was totally broke. I was driving a borrowed car. Well, then you lied to him. Nope, I did not. My upline was killing it. I mean, they were making tons of money. And then if you want to say about me, I said, well, if I told him I'd been doing this full time for 2 years, I'm broke. That might blow his mind too, right? I just said it'll blow your mind.
Right.
But I said it to the right person at the right time, and he said, show me. So I just showed him. I didn't show him. The second thing that made a big difference is I created the 4-year career in 1979, 2 years into my business.
Wow.
The epiphany I had was don't show the comp plan because it's too complicated. Nobody understands it. And if you do understand anything about it, it scares people because you got to qualify this and get this leg, get 3 of these, and get one of these stand on your head. And if you can make one eye, then maybe you qualify for all the bonuses, but you may not. So I said, I got to show this in a way where people understand how this works and it's simple. So I showed everybody the 4-year career on a yellow pad. I showed him, and he looked at that mess and he said, I can do that. And I was like, wow, the way he said it. I'd never showed it to anybody who said that before. I showed it to all kinds of people. They go, well, I don't know. Right? That was kind of my energy, right?
Right.
I don't know. Here it is. I don't know if you can do it or not.
Right.
But my energy was different because I'd been studying the right stuff. And I just bang, 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 bang. This is how it works. And he said, I can do that. Anyway, he did it. He just killed it. And I rode that wave and enrolled 3 more people just like him. And 4 years later, I had 30,000 active people on my team. Compliance. Hardly anyone ever in the history of network marketing has done what I've done. The percentages are dismal. I'm being compliant here.
You're so good.
If you think you're going to do what I did, you're wrong. You're probably going to fail. The typical person in network marketing, the average person, fails. But a few people, that do the right things. Anyway, I was making $40,000 a month by the time I was 28 years old. This is in 1980. Like a couple $100,000 a month today.
$250,000 today.
Yeah. So,
well, you just said something that just blows my mind, because I'm big on what you put out in terms of your vision board. Like, I have my vision board right next to me here. I come sit down in front of it every single day. You have an amazing audiobook. I listen to the audiobook. I know you have it in real form book, but I listen to the audiobook quite often. I go for walks and I re-listen to it. And it's so specific on creating a vision that propels you. And in I made a vision movie a couple of years ago to make it visual and audio at the same time with a song that motivates me. Every single thing in that video has been checked off. Okay.
yeah,
And one of the affirmations in there that I wrote is that I'm always at the right place at the right time. And I love that you just said, my energy shifted. I was at the right place at the right time. And I think that what stops people from really pursuing network marketing to its fullest is that they try it a little bit with their lack mentality, with the programming of, this is probably not going to work. I'm being if I look at the earnings, the typical earnings of my company, it's probably not going to work. And they want to believe that it's going to happen for them. But in their personal belief, like deep down in the subconscious, they actually don't believe it. So they're emitting that frequency out to other people consistently. So without you even knowing, you did that, right? And then it totally transformed your life. And I think that every single person listening that's involved in network marketing should continue until they get that one yes. Because when you just said that one yes, I remember my whole vision pivoting. I was like, if I can sign one person up, I can sign hundreds up. I just got to keep doing it this way. And so when you think about how the industry has changed your life, what made it to be your mission now today to be educating people properly?
I would have just recently retired from 40 years in a chicken plant.
Right.
I mean, the abundance that I have experienced in the last 47 years by being in network marketing, and I don't mean just money, although on my website there is a picture of the house that I lived in. I bought the closest house to the chicken plant you could buy because I was there like 60, 70 hours a week. I walked back and forth. The chicken plant was my whole life. I paid $11,000 for this house in 1976. And there's a picture of it on my website. When I took the picture, it was abandoned and there's bushes growing out of the window.
Wow.
And so there's that. And then there's where I live today. And I don't live in a mansion. And, Kimmy and I don't need a mansion, but we have a 200-degree ocean view. I can hit a 7-iron into the ocean from my back porch. We've just lived a very fortunate life. And it's not about money. It's about the people that we've met, the relationships that we have, the experiences that we've been fortunate to create all over the world. And I believe this when it comes to life, that I don't know what happens. A lot of options on what happens after we pass. But I feel strongly about this, that if we're given notice, a lot of people aren't given notice, right? They're just done. But if we're given notice and we're laying on our deathbed with time to reflect, we're not going to think about money. We're not going to wish we would have worked harder. we're just going to process all the extraordinary experiences we've had with people we care about. We're not going to think about the bad things that happen to us in life. We're going to think about the good things and the good people. And so if in an 80 or 100-year lifespan, you get to process, I don't know, maybe 100 extraordinary experiences with extraordinary people, that kind of quantifies life.
Yeah.
But if you get to process 1,000, like you can't keep up thinking about all the extraordinary people in your life, all the people that you're grateful for, and so many of them, Alexandra, that they don't have anything to do with network marketing, right? Most of the people that I meet today that I have extraordinary experiences with, they don't have anything to do with network marketing. They're just people I meet because I'm out in the world in a way where I meet extraordinary people, and they've been such a huge gift to my life that, to answer your question, I'm an ambassador for network marketing because of what the model, I did the work. It's the model that I'm grateful for. There is no other model, no other business or economic model on the planet where you can use just sweat equity. I suppose that one is being an artist.
Right.
So yeah, I suppose the best example is you could be an artist. You could create something and you could get paid for the rest of your life on it. For example, right out my back window here, the guy that owns the island I live on, he's my neighbor. He lives 100 yards away. He's worth $150 billion.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. His name's Larry Ellison. He founded Oracle Computer. Well, he bought and he put it right outside. It's like 300 or 400 yards from the house. A sculpture. It's supposed to be a whale. He paid $28 million for it. Now I'm thinking, who is the sculpture artist
Who just bet cashed in?
Yeah, that said, this will be 28 million if you want one of these. That guy's brilliant, or gal, right?
Clearly, we want to be friends with this guy.
Yeah, so you could create a whale and get 28 million and you're good to go forever, right? So art is an example, but other than art, and most of us don't have that gift, right? Where can you create equity, value, income with one set of effort? Now, the 4-year career it's not intended to mean that you can build it in 4 years. You can build it in 4 years. You could build it in 3 years, but more likely it's going to take you 7 or 10 or 14 years. Or you could keep building for the rest of your life, which is what I've been doing because I already play golf every day and pickleball every day. So why not work in between, right? I love working. But where else can you create an income once for a finite amount of work and get paid forever? Now, I know compliance hates that statement. But why do they hate it? Well, because hardly anybody does it. And that's true. Hardly anybody does it. But that don't invalidate those of us that did, right? Because we just decided to be the hardly anybody's.
That's right.
Like, raise your hand if you're a hardly anybody. So if I show you the percentages, most people don't do this. And you go, well, that's why I'm not doing it, because I probably won't succeed. Well, self-fulfilling prophecy, you probably won't, right? But if you're one of those people that look at the odds and you say, I'm special, I'm exceptional. If only 0.1% actually knock it out of the park, that's me. Okay, well, hey, that's what we did, right? We just decided we're hardly anybody. And even though you might be hardly anybody, you can build it once and get paid forever. I have clients that are 3rd generation. What does that mean? It means their grandparents built the income in the 50s and they died and their parents inherited the income and they died and the grandkids inherited the income. What do you income from what? Customers, repeat customers. Buying what? Products they buy their whole lives, generational. The grandparents said, these are the nutritional supplements, or this is the skincare, or this is the cleaning products that we use in our home. And so the parents are raised, I guess this is what we use. And so the grandkids are, I guess this is what we use. And because the company's still in business, they're still using it, right? So we get paid forever.
That's right.
Where else can you build something once and get paid forever?
No one.
You know, the model that most people are raised in is sacrifice, work really hard, sacrifice, skimp and sacrifice, take every extra dollar you have and invest it. Save and invest, save and invest, put it in the 401k, put it in the IRA, save and invest, save and invest, save and invest. So you do that for 25 years. If you save $500 a month, you have $1 million. If you save $1,000 a month, you might have $3 million. Okay, now you have this wad of money and now you have some financial independence, but you spent your entire life sacrificing. And most people, they can't do it, right? The
Right.
car breaks, the refrigerator, the kids got to go here. They can't come up with that $500 a month. This is the most extraordinary model for wealth building for the person who doesn't have a start with $1 million. Right?
To get started. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. How do you make $2 million? Well, first you start with $1 million and invest it at 7%. And in 10 years, it'll be 2 million. But what if you don't have $1 million? Find a product that you authentically love. You're a raving fan about it. You just absolutely love it. It's changed your life. Find that product and then just tell your story.
I love that. And
And let people decide for themselves.
I have to ask you then, since we're on this topic, because, you know, people are listening in maybe, and they're maybe part of the industry, and they're going, well, I've been trying to get this going, right? And I will preface that even if you don't win financially, you win spiritually, in my opinion, to be part of a business like this, because you're part of a business and an industry that elevates us and introduces us to personal growth and getting to know ourselves, and everything outside of us is a reflection of what we pour into ourselves, and being part of a community that wants to elevate you versus the rest of the world when you look outside is like trying to kill your dreams, right? I feel like there's so much to win. Before we got on here, I had someone send me a message and said, you know, if you could ask Richard, so what's his advice in convincing someone who's already working full time that they need to do more work to achieve a certain number of sales? Most people don't like to do that in order to see results. And I think when I read this, I evidently thought to myself, no one's going to achieve anything by being in a convincing business, but I just wanted your take on it.
Yeah, the convincing business, it actually is selling, you know, and I guess what I never liked about the whole idea of selling is it is basically telling other people what to do. And when they say, no, I'm not sure I want to do that, the salesperson doubles down, right? No, you really need to do this, right? And they just keep doubling down and doubling down. And so that, why does that work? Well, I guess if I'm more obnoxious and persistent about why you should buy something, then you are convinced why you shouldn't buy it. Perhaps I will get you to just give up and buy it. And I guess a lot of stuff is sold that way. Or maybe I just lie, right? And just keep lying and hyping. And, you know, like, you know, you and I could tell everybody, hey, all you have to do is sign up and tell a few of your friends and you're going to make money. All you have to do is, you know, get to the first rank and you're going to be, it's not true, right? That's
not true.
It takes a lot more than that, but it is true that you can decide to be hardly anyone. And if you follow the right coaching and you work on your attitude and you have the right perception, and part of that right perception is not convincing people. It's more like sorting people. It's sort of like just asking, right? Hey,
Right.
are you interested in learning more about something like this? And someone says no.
Okay.
One of my guiding principles is honor the no. Somebody says no, honor that.
Yeah.
It,
And
it
still love
doesn't mean
them.
you
Still
can
love
still love
them.
them, and it actually doesn't mean no forever, right? Because who knows when an Earl Tooker is going to show up in their life, and all of a sudden everything changes,
Right.
right? So my no's were hard no's, but then Earl Tooker shows up, and then they're not hard anymore. They're like, I don't know, maybe I'll listen. Um, so honor the no and stay in touch, right? Because you never know when Earl's showing up.
You never know. I know we've got a hard stop in a few minutes, but I have to ask you because you've been involved also, like speaking to other people that are part of the governments and all these different things. And I'd love to know your take because so many people over the last 13 years of me being involved in network marketing have told me those kind of companies are going to shut down. Okay. And after all those years, it just keeps on thriving. And like any entrepreneurship journey, there's going to be its ups and downs and all around. But I'd love to know your take on network marketing because I know affiliate marketing has taken quite a bit of space. And in my opinion, like network marketing is the OG of affiliate marketing, and it's just the whole principle of it. So I'd love to know your take on that.
Affiliate marketing it's great. People want to do that. It's cool. Make some extra money, but it's just a job. It's like work, get paid, post, get paid. It's linear income. You can make $1,000 a month working at Walmart, right? Put a blue smock on, show up every day, just stand there and go, welcome to Walmart, and they'll pay you.
Right.
That's do Uber, right? Sit in your car, get a big gulp. They all seem to have big gulps, right? Get yourself a big gulp, put your phone right there and wait for it to ding. If it dings, all you have to do is like drive your car where the phone tells you to drive, stop when it tells you to stop. Somebody gets in the back seat, you don't even have to talk to them. Then your phone's going to tell you where to drive, turn left, turn right, stop. Then they get out of the back seat, you get paid. You drive Uber if you want, work at Walmart, be an affiliate. Those are all fine ways to make extra money. That's not what network marketing is. You make extra money right now, but that's not the play. The play is build it once, get paid forever. And even if that's only $1,000 a month, imagine if I sent you a certified letter, all of you listening today, you got a certified letter in the mail today, and it says your great, great, great uncle left you an annuity. You're going to get $1,000 a month for the rest of your life. Can you imagine what that would do for even people that are well off thinking, oh my gosh, this is like mad money. I can just blow this on whatever I want. Or people who are trying to make ends meet, right? Trying to keep the cash flow head above water. Oh my gosh, they just got on top of the wave. Right now they're surfing. And they can actually make some moves in life. This is huge, but only if it's for the rest of your life, right? So that's what we have to offer. Are we going away? Not even remotely. I mean, I have history. One of my advantages is I have been doing this full time since 1977. Full time. Some people say, you must not be any good at it if you're still doing it. Hey, I already play golf every day. I play pickleball every day. I do what I want every day. Why not still work? I love working.
Right.
The regulatory environment, these companies are going to get put out of that environment is so less aggressive today. Not even remotely when I was building.
Wow.
Oh, not even remotely. So the whole, those companies are going to get put out of business. That's people that don't know what they're talking about. I mean, this is last year, this profession just in the United States created $111 billion worth of revenue. That's bigger than the NFL and all the soda pop companies and all the movie industry combined. This is a huge industry. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of employees, tens of millions of part-time distributors making an income, hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. It's not going anywhere. It's been around since 1946. And yes, if you are an abusively, consistently fraudulent company, you will get put out of business.
Right.
But not because you're network marketing, just because you shouldn't be in business, right? And I just was watching something today. Y'all ever hear of the Boeing company?
Yeah.
Yeah, the government just went after the Boeing company for fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud internally. Like the whole culture of Boeing, a conspiracy to hide the fact that we put defective parts in our airplanes.
Wow.
And convicted of it. And because of this conspiracy, the government claims that Boeing killed 337 people.
Wow.
That's just 2 MAX 757s that crashed somewhere in the world. And what happened to Boeing? They got sanctioned. That's it, right? I did an article on, I can maybe find a link to it somewhere. The 100 most fined companies in the United States of America for fraud.
Wow.
In the history of the Federal Trade Commission, fining companies for fraud, who are the top 100 companies? There's not a network marketing company on the list. You know what the number 1 company fined for fraud is in the United States? This is going to kill you.
I'd love to know.
Bank of America.
Oh my gosh.
They have paid over $100 billion in fines for fraud. They're my bank.
Yeah, they're my bank too, and my kids' bank. So I'm going, wait a minute, I gotta check these.
We're not going anywhere, folks. This is whatever you hear about the demise of network marketing is.
I'm grateful that you said that. I'm so grateful you said that, Richard. And I'm grateful for the person listening in today, because if you're listening in and you're not part of the industry and somebody sent you this audio or this YouTube link, basically the network marketing is just a simple way of distributing a product. They're not going to be sold in stores. It's just a simple way for people, ordinary people like us, to get started in a business, like Richard mentioned, to be able to grow something organically out of our own will. That's really the power of this business. And I love the model. And if you're interested in getting started or you're part of the business, I strongly encourage you to go to Richard's website, which I'm going to put in the link in the show notes below. Really, in all honesty, Richard, I could be like throwing you flowers, but when I think about all the abundance that you live, it's because you've blessed people that you didn't even know, like me, through your message. And I'm just so grateful that an introvert decided to be a slight extrovert like you.
Like,
To show up and to share a powerful message over and over and over again, because of who you are, my life's been blessed, and countless thousands and thousands of other people. And when I said to a few of my friends while we were at our global training conference last week, I said, oh, I got Richard coming on the podcast. And they said, oh my God, like it's so many people can attest to how much you transformed their life. So I just want to thank you for always showing up and for being who you are. So thank you again.
you're so welcome, Alexandra. Thank you for having me on. Great honor.
Thank you so much for joining me for an episode. I so beyond appreciate being on this journey with you. And if this served you in any way, take time, leave a review, leave a comment, tag me on Instagram. I'd love to add you to my private community that I'm sharing inspirational content every single day. And most of all, when we share this kind of content, we actually take time and elevate the world to a whole other level of consciousness. And so on that note, have a blessed day.